Fisk unit. Fisk unit. Fisk unit. Fisk unit. Fisk unit. What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Giants Outsiders Podcast, episode 30. You are now rocking with the hardest voice of sports, the muscle of the Giants community, Fisk Vegas. And I'm joined by the 60-minute man, the sharpest sports bettor on the planet, Kyle Pizzle. What's up?
What up, Fisk? I told you about them. I told you them Chiefs, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the Chiefs, man.
I've been giving the winners all year long.
Shout out to the Chiefs. And I told people that. I was like, bro, like, Mahomes should never be an underdog at home. Like, I don't care if the line got bet back to Chiefs -1. The Bengals are talking too much, man.
I know, and you could tell the Chiefs wanted that game too. I hate that the Eagles won. I mean, that sucks. But of course, it's like, you know, in 2017, it's like the stars aligned perfectly for the Eagles. Like everything fell their way. And of course, this year it's like everything's like lining up for them. Everything's just perfect for them. They're playing Josh Johnson in the NFC Championship game. You know, and I ain't talking shit. I mean, I know some people out here talking about they about to win a Mickey Mouse championship, but it's just stars are lining for them. You know, it's just a perfect world for them.
They ain't won yet, though.
I know, but I'm saying it's like
they got the win.
They've had so much shit go their way this year. It's ridiculous.
That boy Mahomes is different.
He played good, man. He played. I mean, that was I actually was expecting the Chiefs Bengals game to be it got like that first half. The Chiefs kind of dominated the first half, and then like the Bengals came back in that third quarter. But it seemed like the Chiefs were always in control of that game.
Yeah, because like the Chiefs came out with a point to blame. Mahomes came out with a point to prove. He really did. And, you know, I wish the Giants were playing, man, but
I know. I do too.
Because it's weird, right? Because I'm watching, so Kayvon Thibodeau, right? Let's just go ahead and get into that first. So Kayvon Thibodeau came out and he said that the Giants could have beat the 49ers or something like that, right? Or the Giants had better than 49. He said something like that. And you know, there's people saying
he was just chirping.
He was chirping. And I was cool with it. What I wasn't cool with is people taking it serious and coming at me talk about, so man, we could have went to the Super Bowl, or we could have beat the 49ers. I'm like, Antonio Pierce ain't walking through that door. Carl Banks ain't walking through that door. Henry Carson ain't walking through that door. I mean, we wasn't going to stop the 49ers. Like the same way the Eagles rushed for 1 billion yards on us, the 49ers would have rushed for 1 billion yards on us, man.
Well, I'll say this, like, you know, it's been a couple weeks now since the Giants have lost. And for me, at the fan that I am, like, I've had time to reflect and think about it even more. It's like, honestly, I feel like the Giants got as far as they possibly could have went. Like, that's just where the road was going to end. You know, that was, you know, I don't like saying it. I don't, because, like, you know how these dumbass, like these geeky content creators will say floor, ceiling. Here's the ceiling. Here's the floor, right? It's like the floor is we'll win 7 games. The ceiling is we'll win 10. You know, it's like we truly did reach the ceiling.
Yeah, we banged our head on the ceiling.
We hit our heads on the ceiling. And that, like, here's the thing. We took a step in the right direction. And so, yeah, Eagle fans can laugh at us. They can mock us. They can do whatever. But at the end of the day, we went the distance in terms of going as far as we could with this thing. We just wasn't ready for the Eagles this year. We just wasn't ready for it. And honestly, I don't know how we would have done against a 4-string Josh Johnson, but we weren't ready for it. We weren't ready for the 49ers. And and the Cowboys, like, I don't know. Like, Dak was playing so bad the last month of the season. Like, it's hard for me to say. I don't know if we were ready for the Cowboys.
Well, I think we would have been fine versus the Cowboys because we played the Cowboys tough in 2 games in the regular season. For some strange reason, Pizzle, we just matched up really well with Dallas. I don't know why we can play it because
Well, but I think we both agree, and I think a lot of Giant fans would agree that it wasn't like we had a superior team and it's disappointing that we lost. We understood going into it we need to get better.
now we knew shit could go left versus Philly. We
Yeah,
knew.
we know. Yeah, it was possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now the Minnesota game, that's the one that's like, okay, we could win this one.
Yeah,
But
but the fact that we got over that hurdle is a huge thing. Like
yes.
that was a huge thing for us.
Because remember, Pizzle, you was trying to convince me that I was worried about the Minnesota game because it was the first one. Because
Yeah.
remember, it took Peyton a minute to win his first game. It took Matt Ryan a minute to win his first game. It took Eli a couple tries to win his first game.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Eli's first playoff game versus the Panthers, he got shut out. And then the next year, he got beat by the backup. Was it Jeff Garcia who beat Eli in 06? I think it was Jeff Garcia. I can't
You're
remember.
taking me way fucking back.
Yeah, we're going way back with the Eli ones, but Eli's first two playoff games were duds. And then in 07, he broke through. So I was like, I don't know if Daniel Jones is going to be a fast starter or not. So I was worried about the first playoff game because people are human. They get nervous. They're not robots. Unless you're Tom Brady. But,
Well, I mean that was the thing about this year was that they needed to make progress. They needed to show progress. And to me, I think they blew it out of the park. And so really here's the thing about Kayvon though. And of course, I said, when he got drafted, I had my concerns about it. And everybody told me I was a fucking idiot, and that's fine. But my concerns was because this is what Kayvon is. Like he's gonna do things like you saw this in college, which made me realize that even in New York it would be times two because he gets the sack on Fultz. He's doing a snow angel. It's like, did he know that he was hurt? No, but he's doing it. So
I
then it
still think
calls.
he knew he was hurt, and I loved every bit of it.
Well, whether he knew or not, whether he knew it or not, he's doing it. And of course, everybody, like the New York media, blows it out of proportion. He does a tweet this week or this past week or whatever, just being silly. What happens? It gets blown out of proportion. Joe Staley says something. My favorite part about it is Strahan backs him up.
Yes.
That's my favorite part.
Yes.
That made me want to cam the fuck up because I was like Strahan's one of my dudes. That's one of my favorite players. And to me, a lot of times, in my opinion, I think a lot of the old players, and this goes for any organization, but a lot of old players, they won't engage with the new players because they don't want this current team to kind of embarrass them, right? Where it's like, no, I'm not going to come out there and support that team because they're not any good, right? LT's not going to come out there if the team is 3-12. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not, unless they're honoring something. But the fact is that Strahan comes out and says, or showing support for Kayvon, he knows two things. Number one, I can back this kid because he's legit. And then number two, I can back him because their team is legit going forward. Yeah, so that's the thing that I love about it is Strahan is showing confidence in Kayvon. Like, hey, I can back up this kid and he probably won't embarrass me. And I can back up this current Giants team.
And the thing too, Pizzles, Kayvon, this is why we drafted him. We need this energy.
Yeah.
Because the New York media and the New York fans.
But Fish, we need it, yes. And I love it. I love trash talk. I love it. But I was never worried about Kayvon the person.
But it's not even a trash talk, Pizzle. We need that enforcer. Like, we need that guy on the field who's like, okay, this is real. This ain't no game. You know what I'm saying?
It's 2023 and people blow everything out of proportion. That's the reality in the world we live in, especially in the New York market where it's like they're dying to have something to bitch about or something to talk about. And so just when Kayvon throws them a bone, whether it's a snow angel, whether it's a tweet, they lose their fucking mind over it. To me, that's what drove OBJ crazy.
Yes.
With the Giants. It's like OBJ was fine. He was doing his thing. Yeah, he did the kicking that thing. Yeah, he did the dog peeing thing. Whatever. But everything got blew out of the proportion where it made him, I think, in a lot of ways kind of go crazy. Because even the boat trip.
That really only applies. See, the thing, what I've noticed about the New York media is a lot of them are super conservative. And I'm not talking from a political standpoint. I'm talking from a personality standpoint. Like, for some strange reason, in New York, right? All right, let's call it what it is, Pizzle. The city of New York, not Jersey, where the Giants play, but New York fans are every bit as cold-blooded and savage as the Eagle fans. They really are, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only difference
Yes.
is the city of Philadelphia knows they're trash and they embrace being scumbags. They embrace it. Whereas New York, for some strange reason, there's this, like, you see it with the Yankees and you see it with the Giants. The Knicks are just irrelevant, so they don't count. But when you see it with the Giants and the Yankees, where this is arrogance, that we're going to be class personified and we're just going to be better, and our fan base is respectable, and it just, there's this certain cleanness to the Giants and Yankees that I don't like. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like when you have a guy like Kayvon or an OBJ, they don't represent that clean cut, class personified, shake your hand after a good game mentality. They're new. They're if Kayvon was an Eagle, they would love him to death, right or wrong.
Yes.
So what I'm getting at is, like, I really wish that New Yorkers would stop being so phony. And then you got New Yorkers, and then I'm not the lighting of the Empire State Building was deplorable. Lighting that thing green is all the proof I need to validate what I'm trying to say. The fact that the city of New York thought it was a good idea to be class personified and light it up green is my point. No, we need to be more like the Eagle fan base and get rowdy. Like the F. Trey Young chants, that's New York. The F. Altuve chants at Yankee Stadium, that's New York. This freaking half a crew, glorified crew
Well,
in Jersey.
it's a moral issue, is what in their minds. It's like we're morally doing the right thing by lighting the Empire State Building on
No, we're
green.
not.
That's what they think.
But they're the enemy.
That's what I'm. No, that's what I'm saying. No, I don't. I hate it. I mean, to me, it's like, what are y'all doing? Like, I don't even make sense. Philly would
got
never.
away with that in Jersey. You can't do that in New York, and I'm starting to realize that the reason why the Giants don't have a home field advantage is because Jersey is soft. It's not in New York. The FU energy that you get when you walk the streets of New York is not in Jersey. I'm really starting to understand that now. The reason why the Giants don't have because remember, Eli Manning was never a great home quarterback. He was always on the road. He really was the road warrior, especially in the playoffs. The reason why the Giants are never that good at home is because our fans are soft. They they live in Jersey, Pizzle.
Well,
I've always live in Jersey.
I mean, this year you go and see where like Martindale or even the players, they're saying like, hey, we need y'all to bring the energy this week.
They shouldn't have to do
They
that.
shouldn't have to do it. They should never have to do it.
John Mara should have found a way to build a stadium in New York. He should have found a way to get a stadium in New York, bro. He should have found a way, man, because, like, I really feel like the home field advantage that the Giants would have if they played in, like, Brooklyn or they played in Queens or something like that, man. Like, that's what the Giants, in my
Or the
opinion,
Bronx.
or the Bronx or something like that. They're missing that energy, because, like, if you go to a Yankee game, right, in the playoffs, it's a home field advantage. Like, the Yankee fans are out for blood in them games. Knicks fans, the Knicks were like the 7th seed 2 years ago, and you would have thought the Knicks were the 1 seed, the way Knicks fans was out there showing love, parading the streets, F. Trey Young. And I'm just like, I need that from the Giants fans, bro. Like, when the Eagles come to MetLife, they should be scared. When Washington comes to MetLife, they should be scared. I feel like at the Giants games, they're all civilized and respectful. And I'm like, it makes me sick. Yo, chat, am I bugging? I need the chat to hit the like button and tell me what's up.
I agree that it's almost like our organization needs to get a little more nastier. And
yes.
it starts with the fans.
It
Because
does.
I mean, and I've said this too, like I've said this over and over and over. It's like people like, well, you don't play for the team, and it's like, man, the fan base is what makes the team. The
Yes.
fan base is always there. Players
Bills
come and
Mafia.
go. I mean, literally, the fan base is literally what makes the team. Like they just do.
Like, look at Bills Mafia, Pizzle. Oh my gosh, bro. Like, that's
Well,
home
I mean,
field
the
right there.
Chiefs had a wild crowd against the Bengals. Like they had a wild crowd. Philly had a
Yes.
wild crowd. Like it's just people don't want to understand it, but like it's the truth. I mean, your fan base makes the
Yeah,
squad.
Donnie. They're the New Jersey Giants. You're right. They're the New Jersey Giants. You were 1,000% right. They are the New Jersey Giants. That's a whole fact. But yo, y'all gotta run this like button up. We got 140 people in here, man. Come on, get this like button up, fellas. All right, Pizzle. Let's want to get these super chats.
Yeah, run off a few super chats. I see Corey's. He's up. He's already up to no good.
Yeah, shout out, shout out to Corey. Yo, I don't care about EDP kidneys, bro. I don't care. I'm still disgusted that people are donating this fat mofo.
Right,
You know what, Pizzle?
dude. I retweeted. Tyson made a clip or whatever, and like that's going to be my highest like tweet ever. I didn't even mean for it to be that way.
Yeah, I feel you.
I mean, I guess people just love to hate EDP, but he's out here e-begging for people to get him to the Super Bowl.
Because you know what, Pizzle? On my show on Blood Money on Friday. No, I don't know if my last Blood Money episode, it might have been Monday, Pizzle. I asked a question because I was curious, Pizzle. I said, who's worse? The people for donating to EDP or EDP having the audacity to ask?
I don't
couldn't
know,
tell
man.
who's worse.
I can't tell either. And you know, Fisk, what he has done, the pedophile shit, like I would never in a million years do. But if I would have, if that did happen, I don't know how the hell you even go back out in public.
Because he has no shame.
I mean, but it's crazy to me.
No
It's
shame.
like if you got caught trying to hook up with a 13-year-old and you a grown ass man, I don't know how the hell you even put your face on a camera or like even want to show up anywhere.
Because he has no shame. Some people, Pizzle, what I've come to realize in life, some people really have no shame. He's one of those people.
Man, I guess. Shame. Well, he's got no shame asking for Super Bowl tickets,
but
which, by the way, like minimum like $5,000 just for
yeah, yeah, exactly. And he asked for 16 grand. And you know what the crazy part is, Pizzle? If he still had his YouTube channel, which I'm gonna keep it $150 with you, I didn't agree with them taking down his YouTube channel necessarily because I feel like it sets a bad precedent. Even the racist guys, they took down Predator Approach's channel for being racist. And as a YouTuber myself, I'm like, okay, you take down these one people for being racist and you take down another guy for being a pedophile. So if a guy gets popped with a drug charge, you're gonna take his channel down. If a guy goes out and says something that Twitter doesn't like, you're gonna take his channel down. I just didn't like the precedent that is set that YouTube could pick and choose when to take a channel down. But here's what I'll say though. EDP was so scary though, Pizzle, was like if YouTube didn't take his channel down, he'd still be growing. People would have forgave him and moved on.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're still giving him money on TikTok.
I know.
So if he could go live and get super chats, he would have made that 16,000 in 20 minutes.
It's a dang man. It's scary, man. It's scary. It's scary, and especially for me, like a guy who's got a daughter. I mean, yeah, like
I'm going to my little sister's 16th birthday party on Friday, bro. I mean on Saturday. And I'm just sitting back like, if somebody tried to touch my little sister and he wasn't in jail, he'd be dead.
I don't know how EDP's not in prison.
Because Tyson and they didn't give it to the cops. They wanted to get clout off of it instead of putting him in jail. It could have gave that crap to the cops and he would have been in jail. And you know what, Pizzle? Because I want to move on from Fat Boy because he's not important. But the thing what bothers me, Pizzle, is people say that, oh, well, he didn't commit a crime. And I'm just like, you're right, he didn't commit a crime, but what I don't understand is that's how the cops lock people up all the time on sting operations. You know, you're not committing a crime. Like when they got the fake drugs and money and arrest you at the scene, you didn't commit a crime. They got you in the act. If the cops would have sent a fake little girl you know what I'm saying?
No,
Cops
yeah.
could have sent a paid actor to go meet EDP, and they could have called him in the act, and he would have been in jail. But instead, we got to watch Fat Boy cry like a bitch for an hour while Predator approaches. And that's the thing too, right?
Talking about a cupcake.
Like how in the world, Pizzle? Like I don't understand this, but I've never seen a criminal. I've never seen somebody guilty who's 500 pounds and like them Predator poacher dudes can't fuck with EDP. Like if EDP was to really get mad and just use his size to his advantage, he could take them two little skinny little boys off Predator poachers, right? Like, how you gonna sit there, cry, answer all the questions, and just knowingly ruin your career, bro?
I don't know, man. The guy's an idiot. The guy is
an
literally an
idiot.
idiot.
Like,
He's an idiot.
None of that thing makes sense to me, bro.
He's an idiot. How do you have 1 million subscribers on YouTube and that's what you're doing?
Facts. You the fattest, most recognizable black dude in all of LA. And you gonna go meet a girl for some cupcakes and not think you're gonna get caught. Like, it's not possible, bro. Like, you got
even wealthy, ugly dudes get good chicks.
Pizzle, he was making enough money to get a prostitute. That's how you know he has a problem. He has a problem because you got 1 million subscribers. And I know for a fact, right, that YouTube will make concessions for people who are big like EDP. It didn't matter how much EDP cursed in those videos, YouTube would have made a concession to monetize that shit. I know that for a fact. EDP can't lie to me and tell me that he wasn't getting paid off those videos because I've had to sit through ads on an EDP video. So he can't lie to me and tell me YouTube didn't make a concession for him because YouTube makes money off his videos. They want him to upload videos, so they're gonna monetize him. YouTube not gonna let some dude who gets millions of views. They're not gonna sit there and not run ads on his videos. Am I lying, Pizzle?
Well, not only that. No, I agree with you, but not only that, it's a shame what happened because EDP was obviously an Eagles fan, and so I was consuming not all of his content, but some of his content just because they're a rival to the Giants. Yeah, because of the Eagles, and it's like, well, that guy's such an idiot that that content has to go away. And so you actually lose something out of it. You like,
yeah,
I don't. I actually at one time thought, I said, man, this guy's like a genius because he clearly knows what the hell he's doing because he's got 1 million. It's like he's playing on this, but no, the guy's just an idiot, and it's like a guy who gets lucky being successful. You know what I'm saying? Like some people just get dumbass luck, and they all of a sudden they're a millionaire.
Yep.
They just get lucky, and like he's a great example of just getting lucky.
3,000 videos in, I'm still trying to get lucky. I just need one, Pizzle. I just need one.
I know. It's like some people try their heart out, and it's like they can't get. And he's over there just doing some dumb shit. 1 million subscribers.
It's crazy, man. It's.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I got a lot of great laughs from EDP, but when all that went down, it was sad shit. It was pitiful. Yeah, completely different.
You know, and like I said, I had a lot of great content reacting to EDP. People used to love my EDP reactions, but like at some point, I remember my boy Donnie. Donnie was like, "Fisk, you can't. The dude's a pedo. Like you can't keep react. Like you got to cut it off. You know what I'm saying?"
I'm gonna tell you something else that's sad about him, and it's a great life lesson for really anybody that knows the EDP story. It's like there was a time when there was a lot of content. There was several content creators on YouTube that were quote unquote being his friend because they were chasing that clout. They were trying to piggyback off of him. And as soon as that shit went down, they bailed as fast as they could. And look, I get it that something like that is, maybe you got to unfriend that person, but you really find like you got to be careful who you associate with, because their intentions may not always be, pure.
I'm a walking I'm a walking example. Look at all those fuck boys who I used to associate with, and then when it's time for me to beef with Antichrist, they fucking they pick sides. So trust me, I know these YouTubers ain't shit. They just here for clout. They here for clicks, and they just trying to progress their own careers. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? They're willing to be friends with whoever, or not necessarily friends, but they're willing to side with whoever they think is gonna move them up in the search engine, really, and
that's
it's like,
that's that's and as a lot of people that take in the content here on YouTube, they don't realize the games and the political crap that goes on behind the scenes.
the Game of Thrones level shit that be
Yeah, I mean, they're
happening behind the
like, "Hey,
scenes.
you want to do this? You want to do that?" And it's like, well, wait a minute, like, it's it's always people. It's like almost like a fantasy sports kind of trade, where it's like they're willing to trade you, but they want the better end of the whole thing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Who is honestly, I'm not to give him some shine. I got to give him some shine, but nobody that you don't like, or you don't hate. But one guy that I have done stuff with on YouTube, who honestly is a great person. I don't even like saying anything good about him, but he's a great person and does straight business. Is Philly 500. He does good business. He's straight. He has no ill intentions. He's actually like off of YouTube, like a straight shooter, and not everyone's like that. And so I want to give him a shout out for being firm, being fair about everything. So he's rare to find on YouTube. And I'll say this too, Fisk, while we're on the subject. I had a lot of people. I don't know if it was after our first episode or second episode, or maybe right before our first one. I had a lot of people privately reach out to me and say, "Do not do that podcast with Fisk. Do not." I had a lot of people, more than I realized. No, listen to me. More than I realized would actually do that. I was stunned by
Yo,
how many people kept coming after me and saying, "That's a terrible idea.
and
You
you
shouldn't
probably
do
thought
it."
you was the most hated guy, right?
I was like, wait a minute now. Like, when did y'all all start caring about what the fuck I do? Like, I was like, I
It
couldn't
put things
believe
in
how many
perspective, didn't it?
I couldn't believe how many people was reaching out to me and being like, "Hey, that's a bad mix up. That's no good." But you know what? Honestly, I knew going into this podcast, and I knew that you and I were different, but we also had some similarities to us. But we were also different in a lot of ways. And I knew that it would be a challenging thing to do a podcast with you. But that's the thing, is I wanted to challenge myself. And I thought it would be good content. There was a plenty of other guys that I could have said, you know what, I'll do a podcast with them, knowing damn well that it was going to be easy to do it. I didn't want to do a podcast that was going to be easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted, because I knew that at any moment you and I anything could happen. Anything, right? And honestly, I think it's been great. I think it's been honestly a great podcast to do. I think a lot of people have enjoyed it. We've done we've had some great episodes. I'm sure there's some episodes out there, or conversations that we've had that some people absolutely fucking loved. But I don't think a lot of people saw us kind of blending well together. But to me, I think it's been fantastic.
They won't even let they wouldn't they didn't even want me to have Pizzle. They can't stand your ass, but they didn't even want you. They was like, nah,
Well,
we can't even get Fist that shit even.
I will say, I have noticed that some guys talk a little more aggressive to me, uh, mostly through tweets, ever since I've started doing this podcast. And like, and here's the thing, man. If they want to take that shit personal, they can. But like, I'm just putting out content, whether it be on this channel or my channel, that I think is quality content for people to consume.
They was
I don't
mad,
think
Pizzle.
I don't think it's good content to do 3 hours of a show, which is crazy in itself, and then have 3 hours of nothing but a agree session. Now, you and I have agreed on a lot of things this year, but there are some things that you and I completely disagree with.
It's natural. It's a
It's just
natural
a
balance.
natural thing that we actually do. We don't force anything. You
But
tell me straight up, Darius Slayton sucks dick. I mean, that's what you tell me.
basically,
And I tell you that he don't. But it's okay. It's okay. Like it really is. And
and
at the
going
same
into the season, you were anti Kayvon and I wasn't. And we're about to get
yeah,
into the contract talks, and you're anti Saquon, and I'm not.
I'm a
So it's
little
like,
yeah, I'm a little anti Saquon, and that's a good thing. And like that's why I thought it was good to do this podcast and do this because I thought it challenged me. And I think everybody should always want to challenge themselves and put themselves in potentially uncomfortable situations because I think that helps you grow not only as a fan but as a person. Like you just become better. You become better for it. If I just played it safe and I went and did a show with whoever, that's not helping me grow. Like if I do something with you and you tell, look, again, I might have rose-colored glasses when it comes to Darius Slayton. I might need a guy like Fisk Vegas or you to tell me, no, he ain't it. That you know what I'm
you
saying?
see,
I don't want somebody to lie to me and be like, no, he is it. No, I'd rather you just tell me the fucking truth.
you see, chat, you see, chat, and Fisk unit soldiers. This is see, you see the conversation, people. See, this is the Game of Thrones level shit that will go on behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Like I told y'all, and I've been telling y'all for a minute now that they don't want me to prosper. They want me up out of here. They do. And it's like I look at it and I'm like, because I'll be on Twitter and I follow Pizzle and whatnot. And I'll be like, damn, Pizzle be beefing with everybody on Twitter. Damn. But then the minute they find out his ass gonna do a show with Fisk Vegas, they like, nah, don't do that. Now they care about Pizzle, right? Now they care about what Pizzle doing, right? It's like, damn, they, you know what, man? It's so funny because I'm like, I'm gonna hit 10K next week, or maybe this week. Sometime this week, I'm gonna hit 10K, right? When I diss Antichrist, I probably lost like 100 subscribers or something that day. And it's like I remember people laughing like he committed YouTube suicide and no more Fisk Vegas, get that guy up out of here and all this other shit. And to bring the EDP conversation full circle, Pizzle, I said it before and I say it again. It doesn't fucking matter what I come on here and do. If you rock with me, you rock with me, and nothing's gonna change that.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's gonna change that. So it's like whether I win an Antichrist or whoever, that's not gonna stop people from rocking with me. So all the people that turned their back on me thinking that I was gonna be done and Fisk Vegas is no more, you played yourself. You really did. Because at the end of the day, they're coming to see me. They care about me. It's not about the Giants. There's this thing called a personality and an entertainment factor that some of them don't have, which is why my other channel just got the 8K. I'm popping on the other channel. So not to toot my own horn, but to toot my own horn, I'm always going to win because this is a game of content, Pizzle.
Well, what's funny is
It's
like
about the
some
content.
people like how could you team up with Fish? You beef with Fish. I'm sitting thinking like I beef with fucking everybody. I
Yeah,
mean, like that. I mean, there ain't anybody I won't beef with. If they say something I don't think's right or good, I'm gonna say it. And I tell people what I truly think. And obviously the saying goes, the truth hurts, or people can't handle the truth. That hey, places like Twitter tell you that they can't handle the truth. They can't
no,
handle it over there
they
because, like,
can't.
you say something. It's like today, man. I read this, and I'm not gonna say any name on this, but I read this tweet where it's like this guy said, "I'm ready to let Daniel Jones walk, and I would rather the Giants start Jacoby Brissett or Tyrod Taylor next season for a gap, like have a bridge quarterback, and then start fresh with a drafted quarterback the following year." And I just thought to myself, that is the stupidest fucking thing I've read all day.
Pretty much.
I mean, why would the Giants just give a year away? Basically knowing damn well Jacoby Brissett and Tyrod Taylor ain't going to do nothing for them. He ain't going to carry them nowhere. and we should just hope that the next season we can draft the quarterback
Yeah,
that we
we're supposed to
want.
kill all the momentum we have coming off
We
a
kill
playoff
them.
game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
You're
like
supposed to kill that because y'all don't like Daniel Jones. Yeah, sure.
like that's what some people legitimately think like that the Giants should do. And because anybody that likes that tweet,
You're
they're in a lot,
co-signing it.
they're
Yeah.
co-signing with that. And it's like, wait a minute, like you just because the Daniel Jones contract might make me feel uncomfortable. You probably don't even pay your own damn mortgage.
Pretty
So don't
much.
tell me how you want the Giants to pay bills when you ain't paying bills either. So it's like
Exactly.
it's crazy to me how people now they've went from like, yeah, Jones is good, for example, but like I ain't good at this number. Man, shut up. Shut up. Let the Giants figure that shit out. I do want to talk about Saquon because there was some
Oh,
news
we
today.
are. I'm
There was
let's catch up on these super
yeah,
chats so
let's
we
do
can
that.
get to the. But real quick, one final thing before we catch up on these super chats. It's all about the content.
Yeah, man, that's what
Put out
it's what it should
good content. All
absolutely.
about the content.
I mean, I went on Philly 500's page knowing that the Giants were probably going to lose. Not in the playoffs, but week 18 because it's a good content. Like that's what like you're supposed like as a content creator,
We're
you're
in the
supposed to push
content business.
yeah, you're supposed to push the envelope to make good quality content to entertain people. And it's like people come at me and they're like, uh, well, all you do in your channel is you just yell and scream. It's like it's entertainment.
And guess
What
what?
are
Your
you
fans, that's what they come to see you do. So shut the fuck up.
exactly?
Shut the fuck up.
I'm not gonna sit here in a chair with a background with a fake ass green screen or have like one hat hanging on a wall in my background and be like, yeah, I think the Giants should do this. And like, I always thought it'd be embarrassing if a player saw me doing that, telling them how they should play. I'm going to make the content where I'm yelling and screaming because I think that's funny. At least I bring some funniness to it.
Yeah, and I have a dark dark sense of humor, and I display that in my videos. And guess what? People with a dark sense of humor are gonna laugh at my content.
Like,
Look,
I'm sorry. Like, and sometimes I'm not going to lie, Fizz. I judge a book by its cover sometimes. And I know I shouldn't be that way. But if you look like a geek,
yeah,
you got a few sentences that's going to come out your mouth that I'm going to accept
I can
and
only
say
judge you by what I see.
my point being is if you look like a geek and you know what a geek looks like and
Yep,
I give you a couple sentences to try to prove me wrong and you say some geeky shit, you've lost me. You've
basically.
lost me. You know what I'm saying? Like and it's like you can have all the muscles you want to and pretend like you strong and you got all this and that. But if you say some geeky ass shit, I don't
You
give
would
a shit
be.
how big your muscles are. If it's stupid, you still sound stupid.
I ain't gonna lie to you, Piz. I might have to show up the fan fest, make some people uncomfortable. I ain't gonna lie. I may have to pull up the fan face, make some people uncomfortable. I ain't gonna lie. I can't. I like I like making people uncomfortable. I might have to pull up the fan fest, make some people uncomfortable. But anyway, shout out to LA. Remember, supporting Big Fisk is supporting small businesses. Shout out to Tom Brady, finally hanging it up. I grew up watching him in number 18 duke it out, not realizing at the time I was watching football's version of Ali and Frazier, the two greatest by far to ever play the quarterback position. Um, Shout out to Tom Brady, man. You know, Mike Francesa pizzled earlier today. Oh, okay. You know what? I'm a yo
I
LA.
watched it. I watched it. I watched it.
So LA, what I'm gonna do, LA, is I'm gonna combine your first two super chats because you asked about Mike Francesa in your next super chat. So I'm gonna combine those. He says also shout out the great Mike Francesa for keeping it 100. That while Brady's the GOAT, thanks in large part to longevity, Peyton and Montana must not be forgotten. Pizzle, you go first. How did you feel about Mike Francesa pointing out the Peyton Manning and Montana thing?
Well, first of all, I want to. I don't know if I've ever said this on. I don't think I've ever. I don't know if I've ever said this on YouTube, but like when I was so when I was a late high school years, early college, or actually most of my high school years, My family, we had direct TV. We had, because we get the Sunday ticket, right? That's the reason we had it. Well, we had the sports package, which also gave us the Yes Network, and I would always watch Mike and the Mad Dog. I watched
Right.
them so much, and they were like, and it was really because I wanted to that was my way of consuming Giants content at the time. We're talking like late '90s, early 2000s kind of deal, right? So I always liked them. I always thought they were really funny. I always thought they were really entertaining, and in a lot of ways, they kind of shaped me in a little bit. So I always respect what both Mike and Mad Dog have to say about anything. I actually think what Mike said was spot the fuck on,
It was.
because
It was spot on.
I even like I've as much football as I watch, like I respect Tom Brady, and I will say this, that anybody that's of the age of like 25 to 45, he's kicked all of our asses. I mean,
Yeah.
if you think about like how more like as a dude to be a quarterback for a professional football team, to basically date a model, right? To be rich, have a million Super Bowls. Like as dudes, as growing up as kids, like man, that's what we want, right? That's what we want to achieve, to be like a sports
He lived the
hero.
American dream.
He has lived the American. And he kicked every one of our asses because he achieved all that shit. He didn't just kind of achieve it. He did. Him and Michael Jordan, in my opinion, and I think I kind of put Floyd Mayweather in that category. I know a lot of people. I know but like they achieved the craziest amount of sports success, and they were damn near almost perfect doing it, if you think about it, right? Because
Agreed.
I mean, Michael Jordan, obviously, I'm old enough to remember watching Mike play in his prime Bulls years. The dude never lost the finals. I mean, he was
You
just
know,
he was special. And then it's like Brady's that same way, right? Where yeah, he lost some Super Bowls. He lost to the Giants obviously a couple times, and he lost to the Eagles. But he did. It's harder to do that in the game of football, and for him to have this long ass 23-year career like Mike was talking about, he's absolutely right. Peyton Manning was a machine in the regular season.
greatest quarterback. Like
But here's the thing
Peyton
too.
Manning was like, oh my gosh, bro.
Going back to even college, Peyton Manning, the narrative on Peyton Manning was he couldn't win the big game. He couldn't beat Florida, or Alabama. He couldn't win those big monster games, and what was interesting was the year after Peyton left Tennessee, Tennessee won the national championship with T. Martin at quarterback. So there was always that narrative like, damn, Peyton was, he was good, but he couldn't win the big one. And then that narrative carried with him to the NFL, where it was like, damn, he can't win the big playoff games. He's not the same dude. Mike is 100% right. And he's 100% right about Joe Montana, too. Joe Montana got in the Super Bowl. That dude was fucking damn near perfect. He was
But
special.
blowouts. What? No, he
Blowout.
didn't.
I mean,
He only needed one. He only needed one close one. The rest was blowouts.
100%. And so it's weird because, like, I think that we as a society can't help but count numbers. And so we see how many rings Brady's got. We see the longevity. We see that he's done it with multiple franchises. So we just say, oh, he's the GOAT. And we just kind of say, whatever, that's it. But it's like, I don't know. Like, it's hard. I respect him. I think has an amazing career. I don't even know for sure if he's really done. I'm going to
Nah,
say
he's
that
done.
I think he is,
I think he's done.
but it just seems like to me, I don't, yeah, he's got the numbers and he's got the accolades, but I don't know if, truth be told, if he really is. It's hard to say that he's not, but
Well,
it's a great debate, man. It really
here's what
is.
I'll say. Right, yo, LA, you still in the chat, LA? Because I know we got the open segment before we got to the super chats. But LA, if you still in the chat, well, he'll probably listen to it back. But here's the thing, LA, because you and I are Peyton guys, right? You and I are Peyton guys, right? So I compare Peyton Manning to more of a. So you got Tim Duncan, and I said this in a video today, right? Tom Brady is really the Tim Duncan of football. He's the greatest at his position, but because of his coach and his lack of flashiness, he doesn't get the he doesn't have that highlight reel. He's really, if you really compare Tim Duncan and Tom Brady, they're really the same. Because Tim Duncan was never
Hmm.
flashy. He was never, he really didn't say much. Like, because Tom Brady really didn't become a media guy till he left Bill Belichick. But like, so most of Tom Brady's career was very, very cookie cutter. He threw check downs to running backs and slot receivers his whole career. He didn't have the highlights that Peyton Manning had, the Marvin, or Brett Favre had, the Sterling Sharp. He didn't have the Mahomes, no looks. He didn't have none of that. It's kind of like Tim Duncan never had the dunks that Jordan had. He didn't have the fadeaway that Kobe had. He didn't have the all-around package of the blocks and everything what like LeBron had, but what Tim Duncan did was he had one of the greatest coaches in NBA history, and he had a solid team around him, and he played in a small market, and he got shit done. And I really, if you take a step back and look at what Tom Brady did in New England, Pizzle, he plays in a small market. Boston, I hate to break it to y'all, but y'all really are a small market. He plays in Boston, greatest coach of all time, nothing too flashy with the teammates and none of that, and got it done.
Well, I
He
think
just
what
did what he had to do.
I think what I question or what I wonder is there's no question that Brady got it done. But I just kind of wonder like what would Peyton done with the Patriots? What would Joe Montana done with the Patriots?
It's the
What
same
would
thing I say about LeBron, though, because I'm like, damn, what if LeBron had fucking Greg Popovich for 20 years? How
That's
many
fair.
rings would
Yeah.
LeBron have won? Because like I look at LeBron and that's why I compare Peyton. I compare Peyton Manning and LeBron a lot because I'm like, LeBron is the Peyton Manning of basketball. Whereas LeBron is like Peyton, what Peyton Manning and LeBron were able to do was get any head coach to a Super Bowl or finals. Like LeBron took David Blatt, Mike Brown, young Eric Spoelstra, first time coach Tyronn Lue, bum ass Frank Vogel. Like if you were head coach and you coached LeBron, you went to a finals. Peyton Manning took John Fox, Gary Kubiak, fucking Jim Caldwell, and Tony Dungy to the Super Bowl. And what Pizzle says is right. You sometimes you look at Peyton Manning, you're like, damn, he didn't even have to have Belichick. Like, what if Peyton Manning had like a Mike Tomlin or like a fucking Andy Reid or some stability at the because that's what helps Mahomes a lot, Pizzle. Having Andy Reid helps Mahomes
Well,
a lot.
I've said that over and over and over about Mahomes. It's like there's so many people that, and again, this is Twitter, that they're always like, well, you're just like, well, what do you want? If you don't like Daniel Jones, what do you want? And they're like, well, the Giants need to keep drafting somebody till they find their Mahomes. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, yeah, Mahomes is great. He's good. Yeah, he does some cool things. But to me, I think it's the situation that helps him. I think it's a really good. You're with a great offensive minded coach in Andy Reid. You've always had great players around you. Travis Kelce is one of the best tight ends ever, right? For a long time he had Tyreek Hill. Like he's always had something. When his offensive line wasn't any good, for example, when he played Tampa, they got killed. He couldn't do nothing, right? And so it's like, to me, I think the situation also kind of matters. Like it does. You have to consider it in the conversation. And so like when you think about Jordan, when Jordan, yeah, he had Scottie Pippen, he had Dennis Rodman, he had some players around him, right, that helped him win. But as soon as he left, that team didn't go and win another championship. Like they weren't the same team after Jordan left. They just wasn't. And so I don't know, man. Like, and I will say this about Brady: it's like the Patriots haven't really been the same since he left. If you think about it, because there was a debate there, right, of who was the real thing. Was it Belichick or was it Brady? Well, hell, Brady went to Tampa and won a championship.
But you know what? Here's what I'll say, right? And I'm glad you brought that up. You saw Tom Brady's last 2 years in Tampa. He's no better than Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees. Like Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Brett Favre, you could get the one Super Bowl. That's cool.
Hmm.
You get one of them. But it's hard without that Belichick, without that Bill Walsh. It's hard to get that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What Brady lacked
Well, I
in
think
Tampa.
Gronkowski was a big part. I
I
think
don't
that's
even think
what
it
he
was
was.
that
Well, I
because
think
he
that's what he
never.
was missing this year.
Oh no! What he missed
He
this year,
always
believe it
got
or not,
he got bailed out by Gronk.
nah, it wasn't that. It had nothing to do with the players, Pizzle. It was the coaching staff. He missed Bruce Arians.
Well, that too.
Nobody will admit it, Pizzle, but he missed Bruce Arians. Todd Bowles is not a good head coach. That team was undisciplined. So the team around Tom Brady, they folded because of the coaching. That's
But
really
then
what it came down to.
that goes to situation. It's like your situation changes. You've got a lot of similar players that you had a year ago, but you're not making things
Yeah, but
happen
Pizzle, that's the same team. That's damn near the same team he won the Super Bowl with.
without Gronk, though.
But
That's the
who
thing.
cares?
I'm just saying, like that's part of it. I mean,
I mean, it's
that's the
part
only
of
thing you're
it,
pretty
but
much
remember,
that's the only thing you're pretty much missing.
but here's the thing: when he was down 28-3, he didn't have Gronk. He won. He only won 2 Super Bowls out of the. He only won 2 Super Bowls with Gronk. Gronk was there for. No, he won 3 of them with Gronk. He was
Well,
there for 2014,
well, he got
and
and then he got one in Tampa.
he
He
was
got
there
one in
for he was
Tampa.
there for the Seahawks, Tampa, and
Yep.
the Rams Super Bowl.
Yes.
That's it. The rest
That's
of
still
them, he was
3.
hurt. Yeah, but
He did not. He obviously wasn't there for the first one.
he wasn't there for the first 3. He was injured he allegedly injured in 2012 or 2011, and then he was there for the Seahawks. He was injured for the Falcon one, and then he was healthy for the Rams one. Then he was there for the Bucks one. But my thing with Brady is just like it's Belichick. Belichick, it's like Greg Popovich, right? It's the coaching and the culture. That shit matters, Pizzle. Coaching and culture matters. Like the Spurs way, the Patriot way. That shit be mattering, man. Because like what people need to understand, Pizzle, is Brady's gonna be Brady. Peyton's gonna be Peyton. Hell, Daniel Jones is gonna be Daniel Jones. But the coaches elevate the bums. They make sure the bums don't fuck you over. They make sure role players don't do their fucking jobs. Coaches elevate everybody around the superstar so the superstar can do his job. And that's what people don't always look at when they think of the coaching staff. I'm like,
Well, the Mannings know that more than anybody because that's why they made a fuss about Eli not wanting to be drafted by the Chargers. They knew that that was a terrible situation, and then a much better situation would be for him to be in New York with the Giants.
yeah, because Phillip Rivers was great. But he
never got. Yeah, he was good, but he never got over the hurdle.
Look at Justin Herbert's going through the same shit.
Going through the same shit.
Going through the same shit.
And it's like, and that's, I think the Mannings, most notably Archie and maybe Eli, they knew that was going to be a problem. Where it was like, yeah, I can probably win here, but I can't win a Super Bowl.
Pretty much.
And Justin Herbert's like, that's the thing. It's like, I think Fisk, like, I don't even know if I would pick Mahomes over Justin Herbert. Like, I like Justin Herbert. I like Joe Burrow.
Right? So, like, I give you an example, right? Daniel Jones is a walking example. Well, let's get these super chats first.
Well, my point being is like if you put Justin Herbert on the Chiefs, I feel
with Andy Reid, yeah,
with Andy, I think he's doing the same shit.
He's doing the same exact
and
shit.
So it's like sometimes players, and maybe Brady's an instance of this. It's like they get to take advantage of their situation. They still have to do the job, but they also get to the situation.
That's a fact. Shout out to LA. LA says, of course, fake New Yorker Stephen A. diss Eli. Man, ain't nobody thinking about Stephen A, bro. Stephen A, like, he not from New York. He a Philly. Stephen A for Philly. New York don't claim Stephen A. Stephen A love everything Philly, bro.
He loved to stir the pot.
Yeah, bro. We ain't claiming Stephen A, bro. Stephen A the Empire State Building, bro. We ain't got time. Shout out to LA. Remember, supporting Big Fisk is supporting small businesses. He says, outside of Brady and Peyton, 15 in Kansas City might be the best quarterback I've seen in my life. Rodgers and Breeze just didn't get it done outside of the first Super Bowl run. I saw Favre at the end and many too.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to say this. Mahomes reminds me of Favre. I think he's. I think that's Favre, and I know LA saying, well, he only saw him at the end. But when I remember like growing up as a kid and watching the Packers, that's Favre was doing the Mahomes act in Green Bay. He was doing it, and matter of fact, Andy Reid I think had some time coaching Favre in Green Bay. And so it's like I know that's a you can't really say Favre's name right now because he's going through some he's going through some shit
Yeah,
where
fuck Brett Favre. Just so y'all know why.
ain't nobody supporting Favre here, but I'm just saying like his game, Mahomes' game reminds me of Favre. In fact, I think if Favre was in his prime, he would be a perfect fit for what Kansas City does.
Well, here's the deal, though. Here's the deal, and I tell people this all the time. Favre was a interception machine, kind of like Josh Allen. Some dudes just have that turnover bug, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I tell you, after the show, I challenge anybody to go watch Favre highlights, and I'm not talking about Minnesota or New York Jet Favre. I'm talking about prime green, and tell me that don't look a little something.
Oh no, you're 1,000% right.
Mahomes tell me that don't look a little something like Mahomes.
Just like Brett Favre, but
Mahomes looks way cooler. He's got the swag. He's got the hair right.
Look like Brett Favre too. Because when I'm
gonna
be honest with you, Patrick Mahomes is like if Patrick Mahomes is like the first round version of Tony Romo. Remember, Tony Romo was an undrafted free agent, right? If Tony Romo had a first round version of himself, like a talented version of Tony Romo that was good enough to go in the first round, it would have been Mahomes. Because if you go back and watch Tony Romo, he did a lot of the same shit that Mahomes and Brett Favre did.
You could say that Romo's like a poor man's version of Mahomes.
He really is. Just Mahomes, just Romo had the turnover bug, bro. Some quarterbacks just don't have that clutch gene,
Well, I mean, and again, like Favre obviously was playing in a little bit different era of football. It's a different a little bit, not mid-90s is a different time period. Like even the late 90s is a different time period than 2023, right? I mean, it's just a different game a little bit.
It's a completely different game.
You got to think too, like quarterbacks back then were getting hit hard. That wasn't roughing the passer shit wasn't going on like it goes on today.
Shout out to Donnie. All I want for Christmas is T. Higgins and a linebacker. I'm mixed on T. Higgins. T. Higgins is great. I'm mixed on T. Higgins.
Let me say something about T. Higgins, Fisk. I've seen a lot of content creators, and especially on Twitter, talking about like all the Giants who trade for T. Higgins. T. Higgins would look good. Who the fuck wouldn't want T. Higgins? Every team could use T. Higgins. I mean, it's like no dud. Like, why is it all like? Why can't they ever give me like a name that like ain't well known?
Like I'm gonna have the video. I'm probably gonna do a T. Higgins video tomorrow. But like I said, I'm mixed on it.
But T. Higgins would be great for us. I mean, he would be cool and all, Fisk. But it's like, well, no shit that he would be good for. He'd be good for anybody. He's a good ass receiver. Like matter of fact, I felt like he played a better game than Chase did on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're 1A, 1B. That's Marvin and Wayne. They're 1A, 1B.
Yeah, for sure. That is a good point though. Is like how good would T. Higgins be without Chase on the other side?
Yeah, that worries me too.
That's something to consider.
And especially like he's not a separation guy either. So like this is
he's a 50-50.
I don't know, man. Like I said, I really want Danny to get a separation guy, to be honest with you. But like I said, I'm not gonna cry if we got T. Higgins, but I personally would have rather just fucking took Judy at the trade deadline, but that's none of my business. Devil Fisk is retired he's in hibernation.
Let me say this too, Fisk, because some people were talking about why would we get T. Higgins when Danny don't throw 50-50 balls? Who the fuck has Danny ever had at receiver to throw 50-50 balls?
Exactly. And first of all,
don't tell me Kenny Galladay.
Balls. All fucking bum ass Slayton caught was 50-50 fucking balls.
Even I know.
Daniel Jones don't mind throwing 50-50 balls. He just got to have some fucking confidence.
He got to have some confidence in the dude that he's throwing the 50-50 ball with. Think about it. It's like, I mean, I love my boy Darius Slate, but a 50-50 ball with like a Patrick Peterson against Patrick Peterson, I'd be nervous.
It's a little different, man. Like you give him
Yeah.
Higgins, he'll probably cut a rug over there a little bit more. He might be Juju, RJ. Yeah, that's possible. I think he's better than Juju, but that is a concern. Because remember when Antonio Brown left Juju, Juju was some fucking trash. But shout out to Big Mike. Fisk, why you ain't defend Danny when Shannon Sharp pressed you? Oh, follow me on Twitter at Bully Fisk. Got into it with Shannon Sharp a little bit. Because I mean, look, there's two reasons why I let Shannon Sharp live on Twitter. There's two reasons why I love him. Reason number one, he wasn't disrespectful. Okay, now if he came for the anointed one, me being Daniel Jones' bodyguard, I would have to clap him. That's number one. He ain't disrespect Danny, so I ain't had to get him. And number two, he was right. I did I didn't clickbait him, but I did misquote him, and I did it on purpose because I didn't want the clicks. He didn't say Daniel Jones is a top 5 quarterback. He said he played like a top 5 quarterback. So I had to let Uncle live. There was really nothing I could say because I did kind of clickbait his comment for my narrative. I did do that. So I really couldn't go back at Unc at that point because it's like he did say Daniel Jones played like a top 5 quarterback. He didn't call Danny a top 5 quarterback. But I'll tell you what, though, had he been reckless and called Daniel Jones some stir fry, I would have went at him. You know what I'm saying? I don't back down for nobody, but he was respectful. You know what I'm saying? He was respectful, so I let him live. You know what I'm saying? Now, when I be going at fucking Colin Cowherd and Nick Wright on Twitter, I don't be showing no damn mercy. Nick Wright, Colin Cowherd get on my motherfucking nerves. That fucking Nick Wright, bro. Let me be nice to Nick Wright because Nick Wright is what Fisk Vegas will sound like if I had a TV show and Daniel Jones was winning Super Bowls. That's really what I would sound like. Yeah, y'all know how unbearable Nick Wright is on TV when the Chiefs win? That's really what I would sound like if I had a TV show and Daniel Jones was winning Super Bowl. That's really what I would sound like. So I was like, I'll be wanting to shit on Nick Wright, which I will. He got a dick for a nose, but it's none of my business. It's just like, I'm like, damn, if Daniel Jones is winning Super Bowls and I have my own television show and I got a whole stats department pizzle to pull up bullshit for me to quote for Daniel Jones, it'd be a rap.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a damn rap.
Yeah.
If I had my own stat department pizzle to just pull up shit for me to say about Daniel Jones, it'd be a fucking rap. Shout out to LA. Remember, supporting Big Fisk is supporting small businesses. New Jerseyans are way tougher than New Yorkers. That's a lie. Especially Newark. It's New York that's gone liberal soft. I know as a Jersey guy myself, it gets no harder than Patterson, Camden, and Newark. Listen, LA. There's some people in South Side Jamaica, Queens, and East New York who would take offense to this comment. There's some people in the Bronx that'll take some offense to those comments you just had. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple areas in New York, you know what I'm saying? They're not too happy with what you just said. You know what I'm saying? New York does seem like it's going fucking soft though. Like the lighting of the Empire State Building was the last straw for me. That shit's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. That was like the last straw. Like, all right, New York, y'all might be soft now. New York might be soft now. I ain't gonna lie, Pizzle. That was the last straw.
It was very confusing to me. I'm all forgiving. Look, I'm all forgiving. Congrats, but not that shit.
Like I really thought it was fake until I was like, wait a minute, this is getting way too much traction to be fake. What the fuck?
And then they tried to like play it off when they did it for the Chiefs.
Nah, they knew what they did.
They know exactly.
They did sucker shit.
Yeah, but that's my thing. It's like, when did that become a thing to start giving credit to all sports teams winning big games?
Facts. They knew they did sucker shit. They tried to play it off once they realized, oh, okay, we getting some smoke for this. They you know what I'm saying? They knew they did sucker shit. They know full damn well they did sucker shit. And they ought to be ashamed of themselves. That's why the mayor came out and said, yeah, we apologize for that. That's not a good look. The mayor had to come out and say, yeah, we know. We fucked up. Shout out to LA. New York, a more premium destination, though. Yeah, ain't nobody trying to fucking live in Jersey, bro. Ain't shit in Jersey. Why you think fucking Atlantic City is a slum, bro? Like
Jersey got some rough ass streets.
that's why nobody go
I
to
mean,
Atlantic City.
you drive on that shit, it should you hitting every pothole.
That's why nobody goes to Atlantic City. I'm like, they should have fucking fixed Jersey so to make Atlantic City more fucking appealing. They should have fixed Jersey. That's the truth. You know what I'm
Bless
saying?
you.
Thank you. Don't I thought I didn't think you'd hear that, but yeah, like Jersey is like a fucking slum, bro. I might fucking go to Jersey. You know what I'm saying? Like Atlantic City should have been every bit as big as Vegas, but you know when you build it around a slum and you don't get rid of that slum, I don't know what to tell you. They should have let the Mafia run Atlantic City a little longer because you know the Mafia built Vegas. You know what I'm saying? So they should let the Mafia build. Oh, you know what? I gotta ask I gotta ask Jeff Canarsie that. Matter of fact, where my phone at? I'm gonna ask my boy Jeff that. Shout out to Mob Talk Radio. Jeff Canarsie is the host of Mob Talk Radio. I'm actually about to hit Canarsie up right now because that's a great question. I wonder why the mob didn't big up Atlantic City the way they did Vegas because Atlantic City is way closer. You know, Vegas is all the way on the other
Probably
side
because
of
of the
town.
desert.
Maybe, but you know, you would think just from like proximity reasons, like New York, it's easier to control Jersey than it is fucking Vegas, which is all the way across the fucking planet. Especially back in those days, Pizzle, in the 60s and shit, where you know it wasn't. I don't know, Pizzle. Was it easy to get a private jet in the 60s? I don't fucking know.
No, I don't
I
think
don't
it. I
know.
don't think it was.
Yeah, so you know, from a proximity perspective, it should have been easier to take over Jersey. You got your New York political connections and shit like that. It really should have been easy to take over Jersey. It should have been easier to take over Jersey than it was to take over Nevada, is what I'm saying. But I'm gonna hit my boy Jeff up for that. Make sure y'all go shout out to Mob Talk Radio. That's my guy. I love Mob Talk Radio. But shout out to RJ. First of all, happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, RJ.
Happy birthday, RJ.
And second, those clowns are boring and can't hold a candle to y'all. No, they can't. Me and Pizzle, we got the belts right now, bro. Big Fisk and Pizzle got the content creator belts right now. They on it is what it is, bro. We Kevin Nash, Scott Hall out here. We got all the belts. They sick, they mad. We got them shook. You know what? I might fall asleep to a NWO documentary tonight because you know them wrestler YouTubers be getting busy. I fuck with the wrestler YouTubers who be doing them documentaries and shit. You know what I'm saying? They do good shit. I might fall asleep to an NWO documentary tonight. Fuck it. Shout out to Chester Henderson. Reporter said Washington and Colts will offer Daniel Jones 40 to 45 million. Joe Shane not going to be able to just tag Jones or he going to have to trade. Okay.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny about this, Fist, is like all these content creators and people. They're like amazed by this news, and we've been saying this shit since August.
Basically.
I mean, it's like, you mean to tell me that the other teams think Daniel Jones is good? Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, no shit. Not to you, Chester. But it's like all these others like, wait a minute now. How could this be possible? How could this
you know what happened, Pizzle?
Because you listen to the wrong fuckers.
Brian Dable happened. So now they're like, oh, well, we could put a good coaching staff in place too. So now they're like, oh, so that's what Daniel Jones can be? Oh, so maybe it was Pat Shurmur. Now Washington's trying to go fucking hire Pat Shurmur because they're like, well, damn, Daniel Jones had his best statistical year under Pat Shurmur. So maybe it's not Daniel Jones. It's that fucking idiot. And you know what? Shout out to Chester because Chester just set my fucking time bomb off. All these pussies out here are saying that Daniel Jones is a product of Brian Dable. Oh, Brian Dable. I would give Brian Dable the $40 million. I wouldn't give it to Daniel Jones. Well, guess what? The next time you criticize Daniel Jones, you make sure you criticize Joe Judge and fucking Jason Garrett. Because if you're going to give Brian Dable all the credit for Daniel Jones' success, you have to give fucking Joe Judge and Garrett all the blame for his failures.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have it both ways. That's just bothering me, Pizzle. It's getting on my nerves because they're acting like Daniel Jones is. They act like Brian Dable's throwing the football, and he's not. Maybe it's called Joe Judge, who ruined Mac Jones. Mac Jones was Rookie of the Year, and he fucked Mac Jones over. What's the
Yeah.
common denominator, Pizzle?
I would think that would go. So it's when it's not going good, they blame Jones, but when is going good, they give it the coach.
And it's bothering me, Pizzle, because I'm like, Daniel Jones threw 24 touchdowns in 12 games. He started 12 games as a rookie and threw 24 touchdowns. That fucker didn't throw 24 touchdowns in 2 years under Joe Judge. And this dude, Mac Jones, Pizzle, was the Rookie of the Year. Patriot fans is like, who Tom Brady, who now we got Mac Jones. And then he gets Joe Judge, and look what the fuck happened to Mac Jones. So don't sit here and try and act like Daniel Jones wasn't that guy. Daniel Jones was that guy. He just got fucking derailed by freaking Joe Judge and Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett was a buffoon too. There's a reason why freaking all he was relegated to do was clap in Dallas. There's a reason. There's a reason for that.
Well, yeah.
So at the end, that's been my point, Pizza. And I tweeted that earlier today. I'm like, yo, y'all got to stop with the Brian Dable shit. Because if you're not gonna hold Joe Judge accountable for the 2 years of hell for Daniel Jones, you can't get Brian Dable for all the credit that he, the Daniel Jones is good this year. Because I'm like, Brian Dable not throwing the football, Pizzle.
I know.
I mean, Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, damn, the dude Mitchell Trubisky sucked in Buffalo and he sucked in Pittsburgh. You can't tell me them ain't two great coaching staffs, right?
Yeah.
So which is it? You can't just what is it? You can't just sit here and say, "Oh shit, a dude got a good coaching staff, now he's good." That's bullshit. Because I just watched Mitchell Trubisky go to Buffalo and look bad. He went to Pittsburgh and looked bad. Either you're good or you're not, Pizzle. All a coaching staff can do is elevate you. They can't make you actually good. Am I lying?
That's Fizz. I have tried my best to understand what some of these people are thinking. Like I told you earlier, someone said start Jacoby Brissett or Tyrod Taylor as a bridge, and then get to the next franchise court. I can't even comprehend what they're saying. I don't get it. I don't understand it because I'm still I still even now after we've completed this season, without a shadow of a doubt, I say I know for a fact Daniel Jones has been our best player on our team the last 3 seasons, including the one we just played. Because he clearly was our best one the previous 2, because when he got hurt, the team went to shit.
Pretty
Okay?
much.
So I can say and I think he was our best player this year. I know some people might be think I'm crazy, but I really believe Daniel Jones was our best player. He was.
They know he is.
I know Dexter Lawrence had a nice year. I know Saquon Barkley was back this year, but there's no question that Daniel Jones was the best player on this team. Yeah, Andrew Thomas had a great year. He was good, but I think Daniel Jones was the best player. And I said that he would be in August, and I say it today here in February that I think he was our best player.
It's a quarterback league until you bring up Daniel Jones. As simple as that. It's a quarterback league until you bring up Daniel Jones. Every quarterback get all the credit when they win, but when you bring up Daniel Jones, they want to give you 50,000 reasons for why the Giants are good other than him. It's a quarterback league until you bring up Daniel Jones, bro. It's plain and simple. That nobody want to give him credit. And it's largely because people hate admitting when they're wrong. They hate it. They can't stand admitting when they're wrong. And that's the problem.
Yeah, and that's why now I'm getting confused again, because I thought after we beat Minnesota, the discussion was over. But now they're going back to, well, wait a minute. Let's see we got to talk about the contract. And it's like, no, you're just going back to this because you don't want to admit that you were wrong.
And you know what, Pizzle?
You find every loophole that you can jump through to basically say, yeah, Danny ain't the guy. That's all you've ever done.
Let me tell you why it's fucking New York right now. It's fucking New York for this reason. They didn't want to pay Aaron Judge a year ago. Yankee fans did not want to pay Aaron Judge a year ago. Yankee fans were anti-Aaron Judge because they said he's too old to ask for this much money. They didn't want another Alex Rodriguez, John Carlos Stanton situation, right? They were all anti-Judge. It was like, Judge is playing hardball. Aaron Judge doesn't want to be here. Organization can't pay him that kind of money. He's going to be too old. They talked all the shit about Aaron Judge, right? Aaron Judge goes out there, starts smacking home runs out the park. Now it's like, pay Aaron Judge. It doesn't matter how old he's going to be in 5 years. Pay Aaron Judge, pay Aaron Judge. And not one Yankee fan took accountability for the slander that they said about Aaron Judge prior to the season start.
Mm-hmm.
And Pizzle,
look, it's frustrating because, like, again, I'm all about
the same thing with Daniel Jones. Pizzle,
they're doing the
all
same
those
thing.
haters took no accountability for the slander they said about Danny prior to that Minnesota win. They took no accountability for the bullshit they were saying about Daniel Jones prior to that damn Minnesota win. And Daniel Jones he's Aaron Judge 2.0, bro. This is Aaron Judge all over again. You got New Yorkers wanting to be cheap. They don't want to fucking pay nobody. And then when the player does good, oh, we can't lose this guy. You got to pay this guy all the money in the world. It's like, whatever. Go ahead, Piz. Whatever, bro.
I don't know what they're thinking. I don't. I mean, and then the Saquon thing has got it twisted too, because it's like, you see this report today where it's like, well, they're working on Saquon, they're going to wait on Danny, and it's like, well, there's a reason why that's happening. And in my opinion, the reason why that's happening is because they feel like they already got Danny. They just got, they got to come back, dot all the I's, cross all the T's. They've already got that figured out. Saquon thing's a little more complex. I think the Saquon thing is way more complex than Daniel is, because then you got to ask yourself, well, what is the running back really worth? That's the reason why that conversation is going on now, because it's going to potentially, in my opinion, be the longest of the two. Saquon's could get done before Danny's, but as far as a talking point, Barkley's, in my opinion, is going to take longer to talk about than Daniels is. And you can take, and these idiots, they take these little snippets from NFL Network, or they take these little snippets from whatever host that they're watching, and those people have been wrong from day one about Danny, and they think that they can use that to be right about Danny. And it's like, they've went back and forth about Danny for years now. Why would I listen to anything what they got to say? I don't care. You tell me that it's a bad thing that Danny's agent's going to take Kyler Murray's contract into negotiations. Why the hell would that be a bad thing? Of course he would do that. Why wouldn't he do that? Why wouldn't he? Like, he's not doing his client any justice if he doesn't do that, Fisk.
And here's the thing, Pizzle. This is where I actually disagree with you. This is why I disagree with you. I actually think Daniel Jones' contract is the complicated one. Saquon is the easy one. Let me tell you why. You just brought up Kyler Murray's contract. That's what makes Daniel Jones' contract so fucking complicated. Because that's the going rate for Danny. It's the Kyler Murray contract. That was his draft class. So when the first overall pick of your draft class gets $46 million without winning a playoff game, but you win a playoff game, that's your floor, right or wrong, right, Pizzle?
Yeah.
And I don't think Joe Shane wants to give him that, right? So that's what makes the Daniel Jones contract complicated. Now, let me tell you why Saquon's easy, Pizzle. Saquon's easy. I'm gonna use you because Pizzle be dropping knowledge a lot. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know that because you watch the fucking show. Pizzle, everything you said about Saquon last fucking week is why his contract is an easy one. He's expendable. He's the running back. That's the guy that Joe Shane can draw the hard line in the sand on and walk away from. You can't draw a hard line in the sand and walk away from Danny because that's your quarterback. But I honestly think Saquon, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you now, Saquon's gonna take the $12 million that he was offered at Dubai.
Well, I
think his agent went back, Pizzle. I think his agent went back to Shane and said, we'll take that $12 million, which is why I think the deal is almost done. I think the deal is almost done because I think he's going to just take that $12 million.
Well,
Right?
I
mean,
think
where you at
well,
with it?
I think that the Giants do genuinely want Saquon back, just like they want Daniel
He's the
Jones
face of the
back.
team.
I
From
think they
face of the team.
look. I mean, even you said it right. Like selling jerseys too. Like that's part of it.
Yeah, it's a big part
I
of it.
think they want. I think they want them both back. I think the issue though is that they needed to get Saquon's number down. They needed to get him down.
Or
Where
they
and then
needed him to realize it needs to go down.
or realize come down because what he was basically asking for a Christian McCaffrey money.
Because more than 12 million, he's bugging.
He's bugging. He's bugging. And again, like even if he's getting paid 12 million, it's still it's compared to other running backs, that's still a great contract for him.
No, that's Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb gets 12. Derrick Henry gets 12.
That's
So
still a great
yeah,
contract.
that's a great contract because you're with your peers. Like
Yes.
Kamara and McCaffrey, bro, those are outliers.
Well, the other thing too is I think that you got to think about how long of a contract do you do Saquon for? You know, I mean, I don't think
4-year deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think a 4-year deal is probably appropriate too. With Danny, you know, I think I look, I feel like it's complicated with Saquon because it depends on how easy it is for Saquon to bring his number down. He may not want to budge, but they want him to budge, right? And remember when we talked about the post game interviews where it was like Saquon was like, "Yeah, I want to be here," you know, he was like begging for that extra money. He was like, "Yeah, I really want to be here," and Danny was like, "Nah, we'll see." And
Yeah,
it's
because
like
Danny knows he's got him by the balls.
he's got him by the balls, but Saquon doesn't have him by the balls.
Nope.
That's the thing. And see, all these idiots out there are telling you like, "Oh, Saquon is the priority and Danny's not." And it's like, no, that's not the case at all. I can understand what you're saying about Danny's being more complex. I get that. And I still think there's a chance that one of them will get tagged. But in my opinion, I think the Daniel thing is what the Daniel thing is because they're gonna look at
No,
other.
it doesn't matter how much he gets paid. They're gonna keep him in building.
They're gonna keep him in the building,
Which is why, like I told y'all,
which is going to be frustrating because Fisk, you and I both know that he's going to get a fat contract and they're going to lose their minds over it.
But here's the thing, right, Pizzle? So here's the deal. No, they're not. No, they're not. Because here's why. Here's what's gonna happen. And I forgot what day I talked about this, but here's what's gonna happen, Pizzle. Do you know why Giants fans aren't gonna get mad at Daniel Jones' contract? Daniel Jones' contract is going to put Giants fans in a position of mercy. Because what's going to happen with Danny is this, and this is my prediction. I'm on record. This is what's going to happen. They're going to give him the non-exclusive tag, which is $32 million. And that's going to allow Daniel Jones to go hit the market and see what he can get. When Washington and Indianapolis and the Jets and the Buccaneers since Tom Brady just retired, when all these teams start bidding on Daniel Jones and all them fucking offers are in the high 40s, they're gonna be like, oh shit. Joe, you gotta match it. Joe, you can't let Daniel Jones walk. You gotta match it. So by the time Daniel Jones gets his contract, right, I think Giants fans are gonna shut the fuck up because they talk a lot of shit about Danny now. But when they picture his ass in a Washington jersey or Jets jersey, they're gonna fucking cringe. No, Joe, you can't do that. You gotta match him. You can't let that guy walk out the door.
Let me ask you this, Fist. And I have, and somebody's gonna steal this content, what I'm about to say, because I have not seen anybody say this on Twitter, and I've not seen anybody say this on YouTube. So we're gonna say some revolutionary shit here. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
How many teams do you think is waiting for Daniel Jones to hit the market? And how wait a minute. How many teams do you think Saquon or are they waiting for Saquon to hit the market?
Oh man.
I guarantee you the number's not close.
It's like 10-2. It's like 10-2, bro. I know for a fact there's 10 teams that want.
Can you even name 5 teams?
No, it's only 2.
Listen. Can you even name 5 teams that would for sure right now give Saquon Barkley, let's just say $14 million a year?
There's only 2.
Who?
It's only two. It's Kansas City and it's Buffalo. Them the only two teams that want Saquon.
Could Kansas City do it?
Yeah, they can do it. They're trying to give Odell 20. They can get Saquon 14.
That'd be
Yeah,
putting a lot of money to your two, like Mahomes and Barkley. That'd be a lot.
not really, because I mean, bro, elite wide receivers get like
So you
$30
okay,
million.
but you can't name 5.
Hell no, can't name 5. Hell no, I can't name 5.
I don't think there's 5 on. That's why I'm saying he's gonna. That's in his post. I swear to God, if I see somebody post that on Twitter tomorrow, I'm gonna lose my mind, Fist. Uh, how many? Like that's why he's like kind of begging in his post game presser, saying, "Look, I want to be here. I want to be here." Because when he hits the market, how many teams are legitimately coming after him?
He gonna get less because then Joe Shane gonna lowball the fuck out of him once he hit the market and realize ain't shit there.
Ain't shit
So,
there.
yeah, so
Daniel,
Saquon,
on the other hand, I think he's got damn near.
if they let the Giants, and this is what I'm trying to tell y'all, the Giants are going to wait for Danny to get his offers, and they're just gonna match it. They're not gonna. You know why they haven't started negotiating with Daniel Jones yet? Because Daniel Jones' agent already fucking laid down the law, so there's nothing to talk about. So it's Joe Shane's job to get Danny for as cheap as possible. That's his job, right? Joe Shane's gonna get Saquon Barkley out the way, and then he's gonna make an offer to Danny. Danny will reject said offer. They're gonna put the tag on him. Danny cannot play on a $32 million tag. We can't afford that. We got $44 million in cap. You can't put 32 of it on Danny and fix the team. Danny's going to get extended. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're gonna wait for Washington and the Colts. They're gonna wait for the Jets.
And the 49ers
They're gonna let
maybe
Danny
too.
hit the open market.
And maybe the 49ers.
And maybe the 49ers.
And by the way, Tom Brady leaving today, that just opened up another spot.
They're going to let Daniel Jones, basically, they're going to let other teams decide what Daniel Jones is worth.
But it's supply and demand, Fisk. It's just simple supply and demand. You just had Brady walk out. Guess what? The supply and demand for Daniel Jones just went up.
And guess what?
Where is the common sense of these people that do all this talking about this?
And what about the Raiders? That's another team you also have to consider. Yeah. What about the Raiders? Because now that Tom Brady retired, they're getting rid of Derek Carr. You know, only one team gonna get Rodgers.
And let me tell you what, I'm gonna tell it to you straight, because I where we're drafting and where everything and the free agents and all this that. If they lose, they could sign Saquon to whatever contract. They lose Danny, they're fucked.
And they know that.
They know that.
Daniel Jones.
And anybody that says that we're wrong, we've been right since fucking August about this.
Exactly. Daniel Jones is going to get a max contract because guess what teams are going to do? Teams are going to negotiate with Danny, and they're going to try and give him a number that the Giants will not. They're going to make Joe Shane and John Mara bite their fucking tongue when they sign Danny. That's what the Jets and the Colts, and especially Washington, they're going to make John Mara and Joe Shane break the fucking pen when they sign Daniel Jones to that contract. Because when you negotiate with a non-exclusive free agent, you want to make an offer that his team not going to match. That's the fucking point. So Daniel Jones is going to get overbid for because they don't want the Giants to match that offer. So if Daniel Jones is only worth $40 million, you're going to start at 45. If all these teams know the Giants are trying to give him $35 million a year, they're going to start at 40. So they already making the Giants uncomfortable. And then guess what? When Washington offers 40, the Bucks are going to say, Danny, we'll give you 42. And then the Jets say, Danny, we'll give you 43. And then the Colts come and say, fuck it, we'll give you 45. And before you know it, Daniel Jones is getting paid like a top 5 quarterback. Ain't that what happened with Deshaun Watson? Remember when Deshaun Watson would hit the open market? And Cleveland said, fuck y'all, I'm just going to guarantee him the whole contract so he come over here. Remember, Deshaun Watson was supposed to either be a Saint or he was supposed to be a Falcon. And then out of left field, from the fucking bleachers, the Cleveland Browns came in and said, fuck it. We gonna fully guarantee this bitch. What's good? And where did he end up going, Pizzle?
Cleveland.
The team he told no to.
And by the way, you don't. Daniel might even you never know what the player wants. Daniel might want to go back to the place where he played college football, Carolina.
I forgot about the Panthers. Good point.
He might want to go to Carolina. He might say,
"Hell." There's 13 teams competing for Daniel Jones right now. 13.
All these guys, all this fan base has done is ridicule me, pissed on me, did this and that. I just want to go. I might want to go home and play football.
There's a reason Daniel Jones said this shit is a business, because he know he about to get paid out the fucking wazoo.
And you know what pisses me off too, Fisk, is that there's people out there that say, "Oh well, I'm a realist Giants fan or whatever," and then you just a DJ, you a DJ supporter, or you a whatever fanboy or whatever. It's like they insult you. It's like the Jonestown thing, right? No, I realize that my team's got a good thing, and I want my team to keep that good thing. That's not me being a fanboy. It's just like my favorite team's got a good thing, and I want to see them maintain that. That's all that is. So why you sit there and ridicule me and whatever? It's like all I'm wanting to do is the team to maintain build on what they just did this year, and let's keep that going.
And here's another thing too, Pizzle, right? So the Amazon deal kicks in for the salary cap next season. Next season's salary cap is going to be through the fucking roof, right? Daniel Jones, why the hell would he shortchange himself this offseason when he can go ball out next year, because he's going to have some wide receivers and it's going to be year 2 in Dable offense? If Daniel Jones goes out there and balls out next season, he could command whatever the fuck he wants to. Why would he sell? Y'all got to understand something. Why would Daniel Jones go out here and take a low ball contract from anybody when he knows he's getting maxed out next season? So if Daniel Jones is going to do one of two things, he's either going to get the money he wants this season, or he'll play on the tag, and he'll ball the fuck out and get what he wants next season. He's not going to take a low ball discount offer. He's not going to do that. He's made that abundantly clear that he ain't going to do that. You see my boy Danny at the Knicks games? See my boy Danny hanging out in Miami with Saquon earlier last week? My man Daniel Jones he's changing. He's growing up. He's starting to have a little bit more fun out there. Just letting you know, Daniel Jones might need that private jet money. He might need that private jet money. Just throwing it out there. Don't pizzle. Don't.
Or you know what? He
ain't cheap.
Yeah. Or like when he's in Miami, he might be telling the Giants, like, "Hey, I might want to live in Miami."
Yeah, Tua ain't shit.
Know? I mean, I'm exploring a little bit. I'm sightseeing.
Yo, my boy Daniel Jones is like, yo, these courtside Knicks seats, this shit ain't cheap. The fuck? So it's like, I mean, look.
Have you ever looked up courtside seats? Because I have.
Oh
they ain't cheap. They ain't cheap.
I can only imagine. I'm what, $3,000?
Oh no, I was looking for Memphis Grizzly tickets. I was like, I'm gonna sit courtside Grizzly game. Fucking $3,000. Yeah, like $3,000. 2,500.
That means it's like $7,000 at the fucking Garden Inn.
Yeah, it's like 2,500 if you want to go to see the Grizzlies play on courtside.
Yeah, that means it's like a Laker game to sit next to Jack and Nicholson's is probably like $10,000 at least.
It's probably something
at least. If you want to sit next to Spike Lee and what do they call a celebrity row or some shit like that? That's probably like $10,000 to $15,000, bro. If it's
especially if if LeBron was in town, like the other night, or was it last night?
It was last night.
You know they was expensive.
They taxing the fuck out of them tickets. Oh wait, but yeah. Shout out to LA. Remember, supporting Big Fisk is supporting small businesses. Outside of Montana and Brady's playoff resume, Peyton's 4 Super Bowl appearances with 4 coaches First to win two Super Bowls for two different franchises and Super Bowl MVP for two different franchises. No, actually, no, he didn't do that. Von Miller got the MVP. It's as good as it gets. People act like Peyton is Romo or McNabb. Yeah, you know why? Like, people don't. Peyton doesn't get the credit he deserves, Pistol, because he lost so many times. It gets his 4 Super Bowl appearances get overshadowed because he lost.
Yeah, he lost
2 of them in the worst way possible. That pick the Tracy Porter was terrible, and then he got blown the fuck off the field at MetLife in 2014. Well, 2013. Yeah. You know, the Super Bowl should have never been a fucking MetLife anyway, but whatever.
It's against the Seahawks, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a Seahawks game in MetLife. I don't know why they had the Super Bowl in fucking MetLife, but whatever. All Super Bowls should be played in domes. It shouldn't be played in New York or Jersey, whatever, in the middle of February. Like that Peyton Manning was doomed for the jump. I'm sorry. I was like, because remember, Pizzle, we always knew Peyton Manning for being a dome quarterback.
Yeah.
And when he would go to fucking New England in the cold, he would suck, right? And I'm like, I get he plays in Denver. I get it. But bruh, he's going to fucking cold ass New York in February. He's probably gonna suck, bro. I really thought that. I was thinking that, Pizzle, and look, if fate would have it, he sucked that game.
He did. He did, but he is one of a few quarterbacks that was able to win, you know, with 2 different teams.
Yeah, him and Brady. That's the list.
Let's see. Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
is there another one?
Him and Brady. Nope. Him and Brady, because Favre got close, but he didn't. Favre and Montana both got the championship games, but they didn't get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Montana didn't do it with the Chiefs.
And Kurt Warner didn't win with the Cardinals. You're
right. But that is a good one though. Warner is a good one.
Yeah, Warner would have been top 5 all time if he could have just been consistent his whole career. He could have been top 5. He just could have stayed consistent.
Damn, is that really that? I think that really is the only 2.
Yeah, it's just Manning and Brady. That's it.
Which is hard. Which is hard to do. Like, you got to give him credit.
It's very hard to do.
You got to give him credit.
Shout out to LA. Mahomes' latest aeration.
Yeah.
Of Elway, Favre, and Rodgers. I think.
You know what's funny? I remember 98. I think it was either 97 or 98 when Elway had that helicopter spin. Like, he got hit. And the media blew that like up epic proportions. Like, it was the greatest thing that ever happened in the Super Bowl. And it's like a common thing that you see. But it's like, that goes to show you how much the game has changed just in the last 25 years.
Agreed.
That, you know, because quarterbacks weren't running like they do now.
Agreed.
You know, I mean, we got to think when Mike Vick showed up, they were wowed by him. But like, Mike Vick would be a regular thing in today's game.
Yeah, Justin Fields, Daniel Jones, Lamar. They remember.
But Mike Vick was like
700 yards.
Yeah, that was what I'm saying. But Mike Vick, when he showed up, he was like a unicorn.
You know what, Pizzle? You just made me think about something. Go ahead, keep talking. I actually want to look something up. Go ahead, you know.
Well, I mean, I Mahomes, I think for sure. Favre. I don't know about Rodgers. Elway had a little bit of that too, but Elway also, like Mahomes, was a baseball player. I think some people forget that either the Yankees wanted to draft him or they actually did.
I think the Yankees did draft him.
Yeah, it was either they
did draft him because he showed up to the offseason shit. Yeah. The Yankees definitely drafted John Elway because I remember seeing John Elway in a fucking Yankee jersey playing outfielder at fucking spring training. I remember that shit.
Yeah, I mean he was
definitely
that's the thing is like Mahomes has got that baseball player to him, and that's what Elway was. Elway was
and
the same
shout
way.
out to Mahomes' father too, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mahomes' father. Shout out to
he was talking that shit, wasn't he?
Yeah, and shout out to Jalen Hurts' father. It's nice to see black men Get some damn credit. I'm glad they putting black fivers on the television screen because every time Peyton and fucking Eli did anything, you saw Archie Manning. Every time Andrew Luck did anything, you saw Oliver Luck. Fucking, it's nice to see black fivers get some motherfucking credit. So shout out to fucking Papa Mahomes. Shout out to Papa Hurts. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them. It's good to see some black men, black fivers get some damn credit. You know what I'm saying? But Pizzle, I got some shit for you, baby.
Okay.
Got some shit, Pizzle. Now, Pizzle brought up the great Michael Vick, and it got me thinking. I was triggered, not in a bad way, but just, I was intrigued. So, Daniel Jones, right, had over 700 rushing yards this season, right? Y'all are aware that Michael Vick only had 700 plus rushing yards 3 times in a season? That's it. 2002, wow. 2004, and 2006. That's it. Other than that, he was in the low 3s, you know what I'm saying, high 2s. So realistically speaking, Daniel Jones, this is going to sound blasphemous, but it's true. Daniel Jones is a more effective runner on a down-to-down basis than Michael Vick was. This is actually kind of factual.
You can't say that, though.
Huh?
No, I'm just saying, like, they don't want to hear that.
They don't want to hear it.
They don't want to hear that.
This is I'm looking at the numbers, and I'm looking at Daniel Jones rushing, and it's like, I mean, damn. Daniel Jones had 279, 423, 298, and 708. Now, the 708 came in the year he started all 16 games. He had 279 in 12 games. He had 298 in 11 games. If Daniel Jones plays all 16 games every year of his career, he probably averages 500 rushing yards a season. Because he had 423 and 14 starts in 2020. If he starts 2 more games, I'm sure he'll have 70 rushing yards, right? So it's like, Daniel Jones, it's kind of scary to think about it, but put some respect on this man's name right now. So all I'm saying, throw some respect with a
well,
K.
if you've been listening to this podcast and us talk in general, we've been giving the respect.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if I know there's some others out there have been giving some respect too, but we've been really pushing Daniel Jones and giving that respect to him.
Exactly. Shut up, which is why he probably listens to us and not the motherfuckers. But shout out to Jackson. What's up, fellas? Joe Shane, get a free agent inside linebacker. Y'all
interior O-line.
Oh, interior O-line. Yeah, he'll probably buy the offensive line. That makes the most sense. But he's got to take care of Danny to do that.
I think I don't know how much he'll do free agency wise. I think he's going to attack a lot of that stuff in the draft. I just feel like
he can't do anything in free agency until he takes care of Danny. It's kind of like the Leonard Williams situation, like the Giants. In order for the Giants to sign anybody, we had to pay Leonard Williams because the tag was just too much. I think like I told you, Pizzle, he's got the Giants by the balls. The Giants are gonna have to extend him because he can't. He's getting the bag, bro. Daniel Jones is gonna get his money, but shout out to Jackson. Could you imagine DJ with Mike Evans and Godwin? Yeah. And Russell Gage.
It would be nice. It'd be nice.
Man, that's what Tampa thinking right now. Tampa Bay is like, shit, we put Daniel Jones on our fucking team. So what he just did with Hodges and Richie James, you put him on our fucking team. What the fuck? That's probably exactly what they thinking in Tampa right now, too. Shout out to Jackson. We better pay DJ before Lamar gets his $250 guaranteed. I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. That's what Daniel Jones is looking at. Daniel Jones is looking at Burrow, Herbert, Lamar. He's watching. He's watching because at some point, if you're Daniel Jones, you're like, wait a minute. Hold on. What? Y'all want me to take all this discount when these dudes is out here getting all this money? Especially Herbert and Lamar. Daniel Jones and Lamar Jackson got the same amount of playoff wins. And Herbert just blew a 27-point lead in the first round. At some point, when you're Daniel Jones' agent, what have you done for me lately, right, Pizzle?
Yeah, I mean, it would be, it's weird because I think Danny deserves it, but at the same time, as a fan, I'd like to see him get as cheap as possible. But
Yeah,
it's
it's a catch
like
22.
it's a catch-22. It's like a double-edged sword. So there's a part of me that's rooting for him, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm trying not to root too hard for it because look, I get it. Like I would love the quarterback to be on a rookie deal, but the reality is
We fucked that up.
we fucked that up. The team fucked that up.
Yeah,
You wasn't ready when you got him. You
Gettleman with
wasn't
these
ready.
fucking coaches, bullshit coaches.
Gettleman
You
brought in
got
some
the
fucking
talent, but
shit
damn
ass
the
coaches.
coaches,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, he brought in some shit ass coaches and he failed Danny. So because he failed Danny doesn't mean Danny should be punished on the contract end.
You know what, Pizzle? That $23 million fifth year option sounds so good right now, don't it?
Yeah.
Ooh,
It does.
could y'all imagine having Daniel Jones for $23 million next season?
I know.
Yo, could y'all
I know.
y'all imagine having Daniel Jones for $23 million next season? That sounds like a discount right now, don't it? Imagine how much different life would be right now if he would have just gave him the fucking option. How you don't pick up that boy? I still can't believe he didn't pick up Daniel Jones' option. But whatever. You think that, man? That's why you Daniel Jones, bro. Yeah, all right. The two times I've actually seen Daniel Jones be honest with the media was when he was disappointed in not getting that fucking option picked up, and when he said it was a business at the end of the fucking Eagle game. The two most times he's been honest with the media was when this fucking organization pissed him the fuck off. Let's call it what it is. I can't wait to see Daniel Jones hold them by the fucking balls. Because the fact that they didn't pick up that damn option, oh my gosh, yo. This is why you don't listen to Giants fans. This is why. The Giants fans are like, you can't pick up Daniel Jones' options. He hasn't done anything. Daniel Jones is the guy. We got to go get. Yeah, all right. Look at you now. Look at y'all now. Shout out to RJ. Yo, Pizzle, if you go to a Memphis game, look at Ja Arms. I believe it. He half bat, by the way, he fly in the air.
Yeah, he's special.
Yeah, now fuck John Morant. He just lost at home to the fucking Blazers, bro.
Yeah.
How the fuck he blow that game in the fourth quarter, man?
It was Dame time, I guess.
Now fuck Dame time. This dude John Morant been ass ever since Shannon Sharp G-checked the whole team, bro. Memphis been trash for 2 weeks now. Dudes won like 13, 14 straight games. And ever since Shannon Sharp bitch the whole team, they basically just been pussy. It's like they lost their swagger. But Ja Morant's doomed, though. Not to go on a tangent, but bro, unless you're Steph Curry, point guards don't win championships. Even the only time point guards won championships was Isaiah Thomas and Steph Curry. Other than that, Harden didn't win. Chris Paul didn't win. Russell Westbrook didn't win. Magic had Kareem, and Magic was damn near was like 6'10". He different. But all these little 6'3" and under point guards, Derrick Rose, he didn't win. They don't win, Pizzle. Kawhi Leonard, LeBron, KD. That's what wins. These little Memphis is not gonna win until they get some kind of dominant wing or dominant guy in the paint to go with Ja Morant. Isaiah Thomas and Steph Curry are they're the exception to the rule, bro. Steve Nash, Pizzle, didn't win. 2 MVPs. He didn't win, though.
No, he didn't.
The point guard, your point guard can't be the best player on your team. Kareem was the best player on the fucking teams for Magic. But Magic was also 6'9", though. You could be 6'9", 6'10", that's different. But your best player can't be a little 6'3" point guard. It can't be. And I was a Piston fan. Chauncey Billups was not the best player on the team. Chauncey Billups was good, but that was Rip Hamilton, Rasheed. I mean, that was a well-oiled machine, RJ. There was no best player on the Pistons. That was their fucking problem. They didn't have a best player. That was the problem with the Pistons. They didn't have a best player. That's why they lost to Dwayne Wade in 06. That's why they lost to LeBron James in 07. That's why they lost to fucking Paul Pierce and Ray Allen in 2008. They didn't have a best player. That's why they lost to the fucking Spurs in 2005. They didn't have a best player. They were a well-oiled team. They didn't have a guy. That was the Pistons' problem. And Rasheed was pussy because Rasheed had the potential to be the guy, but he never wanted to be the fucking guy. But anyway, shout out to Jackson. Nah, the disrespect on Peyton is crazy. Sheriff calling audibles at the line, 55 passing touchdowns. Nobody did that shit before. And top 3 all time, no debate. Peyton is always going to be my number 2 behind Brady. I don't know how Pizzle feels about that, but
probably so.
I don't even like saying Brady is better than Peyton because I don't think he was better than Peyton. I just think Brady was just so clutch. You know, I personally, Pizzle, I don't think he's better than Peyton. I don't think he's better than Peyton. I just don't. I have a hard time saying it. I'll call him the GOAT, Pizzle, because he has 7 rings. But if you put a gun to my head or you put me on a lie detector test, Peyton Manning is better than Brady. He just is. Okay. I got 2 eyes. I know what the fuck.
I think it's always great when people think differently on that. To each his own is how I feel about it.
And this is, and if you ain't 30, if you're not 30 years old and up,
yeah,
had this conversation.
Yeah, I know, right? Like I'm not saying their opinion don't validate. It's like you didn't get to see it all.
You wasn't outside. You just wasn't outside. Like if you're not 30 and up, you cannot have a Manning versus Brady debate because numbers. If the numbers don't do it justice. You have to watch Peyton Manning in fucking 2004 throw 48 touchdowns. That shit was unheard of. In 2004, where you could hold people and hit people, and Peyton Manning broke Pizzle. You know you gangster when you break your own record twice, bro. You know you pay Pizzle. You know you a G when you break your own record twice, bro. You know you a G. So it's like my thing with Peyton Manning is this, right? You saw what Peyton Manning could do in the old school rules, and then in 2013, you saw what Peyton Manning could do in today's rules. Bro, if Peyton Manning was playing today with 17 games, Pizzle, you know there was going to be a 6,000 yard, 60 touchdown season coming. You know it was coming. You know eventually Peyton would have had that season, inevitably. Dude had 5,500 yards and 55 touchdowns in 16 games, man. And I'm sure they probably took their foot off the pedal a couple times in 2013 because they had that first round bye locked up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's all debatable.
Shout out to Christian. Darnold 5th year picked up and not DJ is disrespectful, basically. And that's why Daniel Jones gonna get his. You know, good things that happen to those who wait. But let's just anything else? We took care of everything. We took care of Danny contract, Saquon contract.
I think we're good, man. Next week we'll do a show. We'll get that. We'll get you some good. Give us some good Super Bowl bets for next weekend or next week.
Yep.
We'll get some good ones. Maybe some prop bets and stuff like that. Do something good. But want to thank everybody for watching the show. Obviously for the super chats. Great discussion tonight. Keep it growing. And obviously between now and next week, something could happen too with Barkley or Danny. So it'll be up there for us to talk about.
Yep. And shout out to Jackson. Peyton better peak. Brady got freak longevity. I mean, yeah, but the longevity thing, like, I mean, Breeze played 20 years as well, bro. Breeze just retired a year ago. Man, look, Brady is Brady, but it's just like I said, Mike Francesa was right, bro. When you really just look at Brady objectively, he was never the best at anything. He just won them Super Bowls. Just it is what it is. You can't argue with 7 Super Bowls. But that's why I call him Tim Duncan. He's the Tim Duncan of football, man. He just can't. He just was never that great at anything specifically. Shout out to Davon. Davon says, damn, she got a nice ass. Oh my gosh. Shit. All right, anyway. My bad. I clicked on Instagram because RJ wanted me to look at my bad. Yo, my bad.
Fucking EDP up in this
She got a nice ass, man. Oh my gosh. But Davon says, I'm 31. Peyton Manning is way better than Tom Brady by far. A lot of people who are old enough to remember both of them play are gonna feel like that. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Because Pizzle is just the eyes don't lie. Like Tony Montana says, the eyes never lie, bro.
Yeah.
We know what the fuck we saw.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. I respect Brady. It's just shit, man. It's tough.
It is. Shout out to William. Remember, supporting Big Fisk is supporting small businesses. Rent due. Just woke up. It's 7 a.m. here. We keep talking offense. What we gonna do with our number 1 ranked defense? Oh, linebacker, first pick in the draft.
For sure, linebacker.
Linebacker. Get an inside linebacker. Get an inside fucking linebacker. It's not even close. We need to address that shit. Now, I already talked about that, RJ. I already talked about that, bro. Peyton Manning, like, he broke that record twice, RJ. He in 16 games, he broke that shit twice. Nobody's gonna sniff 55 touchdowns and 5,500 passing yards. Mahomes came close in 17 games and still couldn't do it. Mahomes came close and still couldn't get it, and he had an extra game to do it. Let's just call it what it is, bro. Ain't nobody getting that shit. Ain't nobody getting that Peyton Manning record. He was too damn good. Peyton Manning was an evil genius. He knew what the defense was in before the fucking defense was in the shit. Defense is still trying to figure out what the fuck they doing, and Peyton Manning was already audibling, hot routing because he knew what they was going to call. He was that smart. He was really that smart, man. Like, I miss Peyton. I do. He's probably my favorite player to watch. I miss Peyton. But to answer your question, William, we got to get an inside linebacker, man. We need 2 of them, to be honest with you. We need 2 thumpers, Pizzle. We need some thumpers, some dudes that's going.
I'm doing my scouting right now as we speak, just to start thinking about who I think I'd like to see. So maybe this time next week I'll be able to kind of throw out some names and give you guys some ideas what I'm thinking.
Sounds like a plan. Well, yeah, we're gonna be up out of here, man. No picks this week because ain't no games. So yeah, this has been episode 30 of the Giants Outsiders. We will see y'all next week.